Hey, what's up, Nomads? We're here doing a little listen and react, and today we're knocking out the song Dance Monkey by Tones and I. This is a real catchy song. I've heard it a few times and instantly was like, man, that song's like a total earworm. I love it. So yeah, I thought it would be interesting to kind of deconstruct some of, what's going on in this song. So let me roll my theme song real quick, and let me give you my quick blurb and spiel and ask you to like, comment, and share on this video. Those things are super helpful and important. Also, please do check out my different social media sites and all the fun, zany stuff that's going on there. And lastly, if you want to be awesome, you can throw me a tip over on Venmo at OneManDuet. So let's roll that theme song, and then we'll dive into this.
A band with just one dude, no reason to fret. I may pretend rock star, it states one man duets. Yeah.
All right, so here we go. We're going to kick it off, and I'm going to just kind of share what I'm listening to.
They say, oh my God.
All right, so some interesting things. Starts off with a very simple piano, just kind of hitting those quarter notes, kind of a cool rhythmic thing that's happening more with kind of the bass line kind of part of the piano part. And then it's got this interesting swell that comes in that's kind of, again, introducing the vocals that are about to come in. You can almost kind of feel it approaching. And then I'm not familiar with who this singer is, but I really love, she's got a very distinctive style of singing and tone of voice, which I think she's great, but it reminds me of something that my dad told me when I was growing up, that, you don't always have to be good as a singer as long as you're recognizable and identifiable. So I don't necessarily, I think she's great, but she's one of those voices that, if she does some other song that I might hear, I'd be like, oh, that's that lady who did that, because I can identify that unique tone and quality of her voice. So, all right.
I see the way you shine. Take your hand, my dear, and place them both in mine.
Yeah, so again, there's that more kind of rhythmic part. You got the deet, 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 deet on the quarter notes, and then I think that was more of kind of like the triplets. Dum, 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 dum. So between those two things, right, with the quarter notes kind of hitting that consistent thing, kind of laying down that beat, and then the triplets kind of come in and add those little, little punch. I really like that style.
You stopped me dead while I was passing by. And now I beg to see
A little
you
snap.
dance.
Again, real subtle things going on. Pretty simplistic up to this point. So, yeah, kind of interesting for a song that right off the bat has such a great groove. Like, there's really not much there. It's just that piano, that little triplet thing, and then you got the little snap going. So
One more
it'll pick up. Here we go.
Ooh, I see you every time.
All right.
And on my eye,
So now we have a more traditional drum beat and bass coming in to supplement those things that have been laid down as the foundation.
I like your style. You make me wanna cry.
Maybe they add a little clap
And now
to
I
that
beg
snare.
to see you dance just one more time. So they say, dance for me, dance for me, dance for me. Oh.
Wow, that's a big change. That was really cool. So you heard towards the end of that similar swell that happened right out of the intro into the verse of this kind of like it's probably like a pad which is played on a keyboard that just kind of goes. And then, boy, did that have like a real strong right-hand turn into now this very kind of like, almost like house music, like, I wasn't a big rave person or things like that, but that's kind of what I assume and associate with that kind of scene, this very driving bass. I liked that a lot.
Never seen anybody do the things you do before. They say, move for me.
So the piano has disappeared. Now it's a bass line with an effect on it, and again that more kind of driving kind of club bass, drum rather.
Move for me, eh, eh.
with a little snap, right? Again, kind of interesting. You got the driving bass drum and the snap, and then that bass playing. And again, for something that creates such a great groove, pretty simplistic instrumentation. I'm really enjoying this.
I said, oh my God, I see you.
So that was a little bit of a cymbal swell there, as opposed to the more orchestral sounding swell that happened in the other two times.
Walking by, take my hands, my D, and look me in my eyes. Just like a monkey, I've been dancing my whole life.
So now we're back to, again, that more traditional piano on the quarter notes. You got a drum, a more traditional, not the kind of club drum beat, but a bass drum that's kind of hitting.
But you just beg to see me dance just one more time. Ooh, I sing you every time. And do my...
All right, so we had another cymbal swell that marked another transition. So there, I think the piano was still there, but the biggest thing that I heard is different is now we have some vocalization, the ooh, or something to that effect.
I like your style. You make me wanna cry. And now I beg to see
You hear that vocal part there?
time.
Another transition.
Say, dance for me, dance for me, dance
Yeah,
for
back
me.
to that club sound.
I never seen anybody do the things you do before. They say, move for me, move for me, move for me, hey.
The other thing that's kind of cool, I don't spend a lot of time on the vocals other than saying that she's got a cool voice. One thing that I noticed rhythmically, they say, do 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 boom. It's got a really interesting cadence that I think does a lot for there's a great groove that is happening with the instruments and the instrumentation, and then that vocal is kind of coming in this very rhythmic way as well. So it leads to this kind of tapestry that's really very neat.
And when you're done, I'm back to be that again. They say, dance for me, dance for me, dance for me.
So that was interesting. That was a swell. Most of the times the swells have happened in otherwise silence, right? Everything stops and you get that swell. That was a swell that happened as the kind of rhythm and things were still carrying on. So that was interesting.
I never seen anybody do the things you do before. They say, move for me, move for me, move for me, hey. And when you're done, I make you do it all again.
All right, so there was some interesting things happening there. They had the snaps and the piano was going, but it was in the midst of it wasn't the full club sound, but it was a little bit more of kind of a driving drum beat along with that piano. So that was even another cut. It's really cool to hear how they are layering all of these different things. And now we're getting into a very different and new kind of sonic landscape, if you will, in this next part. A lot more space. So you have a doom, doom, kind of, rhythmic drum stuff going. But then there's something that sounds like they put a very heavy effect on it sounds like maybe it was a male human voice that kind of is like almost like throbbing in and out. You can't make out what they're saying. At least I couldn't with my old ears damaged by, decades of rock and roll. So this is interesting. It's kind of got the bass of that club sound, and now there's like it feels almost like a choir is singing along, almost like a boys choir, or like it sounds young in some ways. It was kind of interesting. I'll have to listen more to what they're doing vocally.
I never seen anybody do the things you do before. They say, move for me, move for me, move for me,
I take it back. It's a regular choir, but there's something. Maybe it's we're getting to that. As I was talking earlier about the rhythmic quality of the vocals, almost kind of gives it like this nursery rhyme quality, right? In the kind of cadence that it is, and so then when the choir joins in, maybe that's why it was striking my ears as young. It was interesting.
And when you're done, I'll make you do it all again. They say, dance for me, dance for me, dance for me. Oh, 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 oh. I never seen anybody do the things you do before. They say, move for me, move for me, move for me. And when you're done,
Back to those vocal
I'll make you
oohs.
do it all again.
Didn't mean to step on the ending there. So, yeah, it was interesting. It kind of built. You had that vocal, woo, and then it kind of dropped fairly quickly, and I stepped all over it. So, yeah, my apologies for a really, really well produced. You could tell that they had clearly kind of thought out and mapped out. Again, lots of different layers and interesting things. Lots of different soundscapes, and it almost kind of gives you the sense that it's almost cinematic in a way. Like I could imagine, like, going from room to room, and each room kind of had its own different quality. Like there was that club sound, then there was the more like almost like, when I say retro, I don't mean like 1970s. I mean like 1930s, kind of jazzy thing. So yeah, just such a cool song. Like I said, the first time I heard it, I was like, whoa, that's a cool song. I really enjoyed it. A lot of music, the first time I listened to it, I have to let a song grow on me. Not that one. That one I heard it right away and I was like, that's a cool song. I like that. That's a bop, as my kids might say. So thanks for tuning in and listening to my thoughts on this one. I hope you enjoyed that song. If you knew it, I hope that was helpful to help you hear some new things, and maybe you didn't know that song, and now you can go check it out because it's a fun one. It's a good song to have on your playlist. All right, until next time, guys. You guys take care. We'll see you. What are you guys still doing here? Scroll on to the next video. I'm just kidding. Thank you guys for being awesome and watching all the way to the end. There's going to be a reward for you in just a few minutes where I'm going to share the outtakes and bloopers from the video that you just watched. But first, I wanted to let you know, please send me your requests of songs that you want to hear. Let me know what song and what style, and I'll add it to my to-do list. If you throw me a Venmo tip along with that request, I will be sure to get it done as quickly as possible. And if you throw me a generous Venmo tip, I'll even throw in a shout out for you. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Now on to me screwing things up. Okay.